All everyone's been talking about lately is Juan Soto, and boy, oh boy, we've gotten some wackadoodle drama over the last few days. The one tweet everyone's been talking about is this one from some guy named Mick. Who the heck is Mick? Well, he's the host of the Beyond Average podcast who's associated with the Kirk Minihane show with Barstool Sports. Now, he tweeted here, the Boston Red Sox have signed free agent outfielder Juan Soto. The terms of the deal are still unknown, but I'm hearing it's 12 years with no deferred money. Expect an official announcement to come within the next few days. Now, this tweet absolutely blew up on Thanksgiving. While everyone's trying to have their turkey, their sides, their desserts, all everyone could read was this. 5.2 million views, almost 3,000 likes, 900 retweets, almost 800 comments. Now, my first reaction to this was complete skepticism. I'm thinking, who the heck is this guy? Well, I looked a little further. He had a report on the Bruins coach in hockey getting fired, along with Kristaps Porzingis, who had been injured for the season. He was going to be making his season debut in the starting lineup for the Celtics. So I'm thinking, all right, well, he's got a couple little things here. But when you're thinking of something like this, the magnitude of this kind of a signing, one of the top free agents of all time, when there's hundreds of millions of dollars involved, especially with an agent like Scott Boras, I'm thinking, how in the world does this guy have this? Sure, maybe you could have, a couple of little local scoops, but something like this, I don't know about that. After this, though, he doubled down, saying, I stand by my report. He's a Red Sox. This prompted Jeff Passan to hop on Twitter while he's eating his turkey, saying, I am thankful for reporters who don't make up stories. I'm also thankful that Juan Soto has not agreed to any contract, which means you can get off Twitter and go spend the holiday with your family. Happy Thanksgiving. But the drama didn't stop there, ladies and gentlemen. This guy named Mick, who the heck is Mick? He said here that Passan got caught with his pants down, Soto to Boston. Now, he went on to triple down, saying, here's what I know. Juan Soto and Boston have agreed to a long-term contract. Now, a key difference right there is he says, have agreed. Remember, in the original tweet, he says, have signed. So you got to pay attention to those little bit of inconsistencies there. He also went on to say the exact length and money of the deal is still unknown, but I'm told there is no deferred cash. Now, look here. He says the exact length and money of the deal is still unknown. Go back to the original tweet. He said, I'm hearing it's 12 years. So I don't know. There's some inconsistencies there. I don't know. I thought that was pretty interesting. He then quadrupled down, saying here that he just spoke with a source close to the Soto signing. Again, he says signing, and in the last tweet, he said they had agreed. So I don't know, there's a bit of a difference there. But he says here that the source said Boston's PR team had a plan for the announcement that included a video of Soto at Fenway Park. Management got word of your report yesterday and called an emergency Zoom meeting. You nailed it. He's coming to Boston. I don't know. He kind of lost me here. I don't know. This just sounds way out there. I wasn't really sure what to think of this. On top of this, we got some reports from a couple of Latin reporters out there. From Mike Rodriguez, he says here, I finished a call and sources from Boston informed me that the player talked for more than an hour with Rafael Devers about the team. There is a 12-year offer for around $50 million per season, and Juan Soto is interested in the idea of going to the Red Sox. Now, the 12-year part does line up with what Mick said. I'm just saying, who the heck is Mick? My goodness. But then we got a little follow-up from Hector Gomez. He says here, I'm hearing a 13-year, $625 million offer. Now, I do believe this, and I'm not sure if this is the exact terms, but I do believe there is an aggressive offer like this from the Red Sox. We'd already gotten reports that the Red Sox put forth an offer and even upped their original offers. So I did buy this when I read it, but I also think about the fact ever since John Henry and that ownership group took over back in 2002, every time there's been urgency and the farm system is strong and there's good talent at the major league level, they always do something aggressive. If you go back, 2004, they bring in Kurt Schilling, Keith Falk, right? 2007, you had a good young core of players at the major league level. The farm system was looking pretty good. And then they went out there and got Daisuke Matsuzaka, Julio Lugo, JD Drew. Go to 2011, right? After the Briggs year in 2010, they made a big deal with Carl Crawford, signed him to to a massive contract. You traded for Adrian Gonzalez, signed him to a massive extension. Ended up not working out, but they did make those aggressive moves. 2013, a couple of bad years, right? You had Bobby Valentine in 2012. Good young core players. Farm system was looking pretty good. You brought in a lot of guys on some, cheaper deals, but some good names like Mike Napoli, Shane Victorino, Stephen Drew, Koji Uehara, and then they ended up winning the World Series that year. Go back to when they entered a competitive window with Dave Dombrowski in 2016. You went and signed David Price after John Lester went to the Cubs. You made a trade for Craig Kimbrell, Chris Sale eventually. You signed JD Martinez. So time and time again, they've made aggressive moves when the timing is right and there's urgency. Marino Pepin, who has been a little spotty over the last couple of years, saying here, I've consulted many influential people linked to baseball in the Dominican Republic, and most tell me that Juan Soto will be a Red Sox. This week is looking interesting. Now, a lot of people have gotten onto Pepin over the last few years, most notably because of the Xander Bogaerts situation, in which he was tweeting out that it looked like momentum was building towards Bogaerts coming back to Boston when he was a free agent. But then the Padres came in with a massive offer that he could not say no to. A lot of people, they gave Marino a bit of a hard time for that because, he gets accused of kind of just throwing a lot of stuff out there, seeing what sticks. He had the Jordan Montgomery stuff last year where he was saying, they were in talks with him and then nothing ended up happening there. But with Marino, what I will say with Marino, guys like Hector Gomez, Mike Deportes that we're just looking at, these guys have ties to the Latin community. Sure, maybe they've gotten some stuff wrong over the last few years, but these guys know people in the Latin community. I would think if there's any reporters that we should be paying attention to in this certain situation, I would be listening to these guys personally. Now, I'm not saying fully trust them, but I would give them a chance here because, again, Juan Soto being from the Dominican Republic, these guys know people out there. Now, there was also this clip I found on Instagram from a podcast called Cruel Sports, where the guy on the bottom, he's a reporter in the Dominican Republic. He said that he heard that there was already an agreement in place between the Red Sox and Juan Soto. In the end, when it comes to these reports, to say Soto was signed, I just don't buy that. Now, I was told personally by a little birdie who has ties to the Boras Corporation that the story was absolutely false and nothing had been signed or agreed upon. But I do think it is possible an offer has been made, which lines up with what Hector Gomez said. I have no idea what to think of all this mixed stuff, to be honest. I think it's possible he was told something by someone maybe, and he took his shot. Now, we also got this report from Randy Miller of NewJersey.com, who's also been a bit spotty in the past, saying that he thinks the Yankees will top out probably in the $550 million range. I believe Soto has at least 2 and maybe 3 offers already over $600 million. I haven't confirmed that, but that's what I believe. I'm hearing the Yankees fear the Red Sox more than anyone. I think the Mets are definitely in play, and the Red Sox are in play, and I don't think he's going to the Yankees. Miller noted that he thinks the Yankees will finish 4th in the Soto bidding. Now, when it comes to Randy Miller, he did say a while back that he thought Aaron Judge was going to go to the Giants, which obviously ended up being wrong, but you got to remember, it did look very much so like Aaron Judge was going to go to the Giants until Hal Steinbrenner made one final phone call that sealed the deal. But when it comes to this with Juan Soto, I don't know, this one's a little different if you ask me, because there's a lot more money involved. He's a much younger player than Aaron Judge was at the time of signing, so it's going to be a longer deal overall. There's much more stiff competition, especially from a team like the Mets with an owner like Steve Cohen. Now, I do think in the end the Yankees are going to try and pull off the same strategy they did with Aaron Judge. I do think they make a very strong effort in the end to try and get something done, but I do wonder how far they're willing to go. I also wonder if maybe Juan Soto already has his sights set elsewhere. I don't know. I'm not sure what to think there, but I don't think you can count the Yankees out. Obviously, he just had a great year there, had a career year, made it to a World Series, but you got to think with the Yankees, how far are they willing to go? They already have a lot of payroll already committed to guys like Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Carlos Rodon, and then you're going to be adding Juan Soto for close to $50 million per year or whatever it may be. And the Yankees have holes already, first base, third base. What are they going to do there? They need something for the bullpen, maybe even a couple of arms there, arm for the rotation. I don't know. I'm just wondering, a team with needs, would the Yankees be more willing to kind of spread that out a little bit. We're just going to have to wait and see. But in the end, I am not counting out the Yankees whatsoever. They got it done with Aaron Judge, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they can get it done with Juan Soto. So to recap all of this, and again, wait for Jeff Passan, wait for Ken Rosenthal, but I gotta say, as a Red Sox fan and even just a baseball fan in general, I can't deny that I've been a little intrigued over the last few days. Even on Thanksgiving, I'm stuffing turkey, mashed potato, desserts down my throat, and I'm constantly checking Twitter to see if anything was gonna happen. But it does feel like we're getting close to the finish line. It has been reported that Juan Soto wants to sign by the winter meetings, or at least around the winter meetings. So I do feel like we're going to hear more noise this coming week. So we got to keep our eyes and ears open. Let's move on from Juan Soto and talk about Corbin Burnes. And according to Mark Feinstein, the Giants are showing significant interest in Burnes, joining the Blue Jays, Red Sox, Yankees, and the Orioles as the clubs known to be pursuing the right-hander to some degree. Now, when it comes to Corbin Burnes, we all know this guy's one of the best pitchers in baseball for a while now. Another great season this year with the Orioles, 32 starts, ERA at a 2.92, FIP at a 3.55, good strikeout to walk ratio. This guy is an absolute workhorse, ranks in the top 3 in innings pitched over the last 3 years. Now, for the Giants, I mean, this would be a great upgrade for the rotation. They just lost Blake Snell, but we had seen reports that the Giants could be looking to cut some payroll this offseason. Are they willing to go, for a contract for Corbin Burnes? I think he's going to get something from 7 years, 200 to 220 million. I think it's going to cost a lot to get this guy right around the $30 million per year mark. But again, maybe they have a change of heart, and they go out and get someone like this. I mean, that would be a great 1-2 punch atop the rotation. Corbin Burnes and Logan Webb, they both rank in the top 3 in innings pitched over the last 3 years. That would be a very durable 1-2 punch, along with guys like Robbie Ray. You got Jordan Hicks, Kyle Harrison in here. So yeah, you'd have some great starting pitching, but we'll see what the Giants end up doing. I think it would be a good ad for them, and it would be a good counter for the Dodgers taking away Blake Snell from them. So, they might want to have, they might want to make some kind of a move to counter the Dodgers there. Now, the Orioles, I think it's a complete no-brainer for them to bring him back. They're in a competitive window. They got a lot of young talent. To me, I think Zach Eflin is more of, a 2 or a 3 in a rotation. Corbin Burnes needs to be the ace of the staff, in my opinion. Now, the Red Sox, they've been trying to upgrade the top of the rotation. I could see someone like Corbin Burnes. I do wonder how far the Red Sox would be willing to go, for a contract like that for a pitcher. With David Price, sure, helped them win a World Series in 2018, but I don't know. The contract itself wasn't great value. It's kind of outside what John Henry likes to do when it comes to long-term pitchers with long-term contracts with pitchers. So we'll see there. The Blue Jays, they're just trying to get anything done this offseason. If they could land Burnes, that would be a great 1-2 punch. Burnes and Gausman, that would be fantastic. But what does Burnes think of the Blue Jays? The long-term outlook with the Blue Jays right now is looking a bit murky. The farm system needs to be beefed back up. Vlad Jr. is not signed to an extension. So I don't know. The Yankees, let's see what happens with Juan Soto here. But if they don't land Juan Soto and, they want to use that money they would be giving to him for other parts of the team, Corbin Burnes would be a nice addition to this rotation. Garrett Cole, remember, he had arm issues coming into the year. Maybe adding someone durable like Corbin Burnes could end up being a nice upgrade here, but it would be an expensive upgrade. I kind of don't see the Yankees doing this because they've already invested so much money into Cole and Rodon. I don't know. We just saw the Dodgers invest yet another massive contract into Blake Snell. Why couldn't the Yankees do this? Now, the Mets, obviously Juan Soto as well. They're trying to get him, but if they don't land him, or even if they do land him, I could still see them going after Corbin Burnes. That would be a very good addition to this rotation with Kadai Senga, who missed a lot of this past year. Or maybe even a surprise team that we haven't even really heard about right now. Maybe the Nationals could get involved here. A team that's about to get it into a competitive window. An ace like Corbin Burnes would be great for this rotation moving forward. He would lead a staff with guys like Mackenzie Gore, guys like Mitchell Parker, who had a good year this year. Cade Cavalli is going to start coming up here. So I don't know. We'll see. But Corbin Burnes, I definitely think once Juan Soto comes off the board, his market is definitely going to heat up. Let's wrap this up with an interesting one. Could we see a possible Carlos Correa trade this offseason. Now, we're going to take this one with a bit of grain of salt. And speaking of Latin reporters, we got a report from Carlos Baerga saying the Twins are rumored to be shopping Carlos Correa. Now, when it comes to Carlos Baerga, he has been hit or miss, but if you go back to last offseason, he did report the Blue Jays signing Yariel Rodriguez and Justin Turner. So he has hit on some stuff in the past, but he has been pretty hit or miss. Now thinking about the Twins' point of view, I could absolutely see the Twins wanting to try and move on here. You know, they got a payroll right around $150 million. They've always been a small market team, and over the last year or two, they have had some issues when it comes to the TV revenue. So I could see them maybe wanting to move on from this contract. He's owed a little over $130 million over the next 4 years. And you got to remember as well, they do have Brooks Lee, who was a high draft pick not too long ago. You know, he had, a pretty good showing last year. You know, he's pretty up and down, but he showed some good things, and he is a future star player for them. Carlos Correa, he was hurt this past year, but during the 86 games that he played, he put up some strong numbers. Hit 310, a 388 on base, a 517 on the slugging, a 155 WRC plus, a 4.3 F4 overall. That is a fantastic number over 86 games. Just over half. Carlos Correa, he was having some problems with the foot, but it looks like he is progressing pretty well this offseason. So, it comes down to whether or not teams would be comfortable taking on Carlos Correa, with the health concerns. If there are some teams out there that might be looking for a star shortstop, maybe you can look at the Dodgers here, right? Mookie Betts is going to be coming back to the infield, so you could have Mookie Betts play second base, Carlos Correa at shortstop. I know Dodgers fans are going to say they want nothing to do with Carlos Correa because of all the, the Astros cheating scandal and whatnot. But listen, I'm just saying, a star player like Carlos Correa, your team would be off the charts at that point. Now, maybe the Toronto Blue Jays, they're looking to do some things this offseason. They could definitely use a bat in this lineup. I know you got Bo Bichette at short, but Bo Bichette had a very down year this past year. Maybe Bichette would be willing to possibly play some second base. Maybe Will Wagner could maybe move to third base. I know he's more of a second baseman, but I don't know. Maybe he could do something there. Or maybe Correa could play third base. I don't know. That could be a possibility too. I look at a team like the Atlanta Braves. They could definitely use an upgrade, especially offensively at shortstop. The Braves have been known to take on some bad contracts in the past, right? They did it with Jorge Soler not too long ago. We'll see. But maybe the Braves could get involved here. I mean, their lineup would be stacked at that point. And this one might sound kind of funny, but maybe the Giants could revisit it. He did sign with the Giants at one point. But, hey, I feel like they could use a bat in this lineup. Tyler Fitzgerald, he can move to another position. So, in the end, I think Carlos Correa, do I think he ends up getting moved? I think a lot has to happen here for him to get moved, especially with all the injuries he's been having with the foot, the massive contract. I don't know. I feel like a lot is going to have to happen here. But hey, we've seen crazier things happen. Now, before I do wrap things up, I do want to touch on the Dodgers extending Tommy Edman. I love Tommy Edman. I think he's a very underrated player. They extended him to a 5-year, $74 million extension. There is going to be some a bit of deferred money. We know the Dodgers love their deferred money. I don't know. They can't keep getting away with this. I'm just saying. But Tommy Edman, I think it was good to get this guy signed up for the next few years. He's only 29 years old. He's going to be turning 30 soon. He did miss some time this year. Remember, he came back in the trade, the three-way deal with the Cardinals, Dodgers, and the White Sox. Sure, offensively, nothing amazing by any means this year. But what I like about Tommy Edman is he has good versatility. He can play a good shortstop and can play a good center field. He can basically play anywhere. That's what I like about him. I think he's a valuable player to have on your team. As of right now, he is projected to be the center fielder for the Dodgers. I do think that's probably going to be his home, especially if the Dodgers end up adding something for the middle infield. We'll see. But I think having a guy like Tommy Edman on the team, I think that was good for the Dodgers. I mean, but, hey, with the Dodgers, they're just signing everyone at this point. But it is what it is. But everyone, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. What do you think of all the Juan Soto drama? Where do you think he ends up going? Do you think the Red Sox, even with all of these ridiculous reports from guys named Mick, who the heck is Mick, coming out, do you think it could be for real? Let me know. What do you think about the Carlos Correa trade? What do you think about Corbin Burnes? Do you think he could go to the Giants? Let me know. But everyone, that's all I got for this video. If you counted the way out, hit that like button for me, subscribe if you're new, and I'll talk to you next time.